We're here with Representative Jim Jordan, one of the top Republicans in the House Freedom Caucus. Earlier, you unveiled with the Freedom Caucus members a set of core principles for tax policy. What are they?
Well, two key principles. One, let families keep more of their money. Two, design a code that's conducive to growth, because right now that's not what we have. And then three, we don't think you need to put ourselves in this straitjacket that people call revenue neutrality. I always say that's a fancy way, or Washington speak way of saying the tax burden stays the same. We just shift around who pays what. And under that scheme, what normally happens is the connected class here in Washington gets a good deal, and middle-class families get a bad deal. So we think that, forget that. We should let people keep more of their money, design a code that's going to produce economic growth, and then cut spending. After all, that's what Republicans are supposed to believe in.
So the Senate Majority Leader, other Republicans have said revenue neutrality is a must. So there seems to be division amongst Republicans on that. Are you going to be able to look past that?
I don't think there's division amongst Republicans around the country. Since when did Republicans say that, letting families keep more of their money is a cost of government? Since when did we adopt that philosophy? So I just don't buy it. I know most Republicans in West Central and North Central Ohio don't buy it, and my guess is most Republicans around the country don't buy it. They care about their tax burden. They want a simplified, fairer, better tax code. That's what we should focus on, and maybe we need to actually cut spending around this town, which is why we're focused on some of the things we are on the other policy side, other policy issues like welfare reform.
Corporate tax rate, where do you think that should be?
As low as possible. I mean, that's
20%.
Right now, it's the highest in the world. So you talk about our tax code. I always say this: any tax code on the personal side, which says to approximately half the population, you don't have to participate in the main tax, is broken. Any tax code on the corporate side, which says to American companies, in a world market, you're going to pay the highest rate in the world. That's stupid. So if you have a tax code that's both broken and stupid, you might want to change it. So let's bring the corporate rate as low as we possibly can. I would love to be the lowest in the world.
But 20%, is that?
Hopefully 20, hopefully even lower.
Let's talk about ways to how this is going to be negotiated. Because if the border adjustment tax, which it sounds like is not going to be in the Freedom Caucus plan.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's in hardly anyone's plan anymore.
But it definitely won't be in the Freedom Caucus plan.
No,
right?
of course, no way.
So they're saying a decade, $1 trillion source of revenue. You're going to need to find revenue somewhere. How do you do it?
Let me back up, though. How is putting a whole new tax on the American economy good for the American economy? How's it good for American families? So, someone's going to tell me, like, a brand new tax, a quasi-tariff, quasi-VAT, whatever this BAT actually works out to be, and there's debate amongst economists, putting that on the American economy, how is that good for economic growth? And plus, we know it's a regressive tax. It's going to hurt middle-class families. It's going to be a cost. And to big employers in our district, we know what it scores out. It's a big cost with folks who have global supply chains in big manufacturing districts like ours. So that is just a bad idea. Let's cut spending, for goodness sakes.
But food stamps, welfare reform, you're going to get criticized, not just by Democrats, but some Republicans will say that they're weary about that.
Well, here are the facts. All we're saying is if you're an able-bodied adult, you should have to work. They shouldn't get your tax dollars, Kevin, without having to do something. And when you do that, you know what happens? People say, well, forget it. I'll just go get a job. Imagine that. Exactly the outcome we want. They get to a better position in life. It saves taxpayer dollars. It's better for our economy. It's better. It's a win-win-win. That's all we're saying. And my guess is most people agree with that. In fact, it's an 80-some% issue. And certainly voters in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, states that went for President
Trump.
Yeah, they agree with that kind of concept. You got second shift workers, second grade teachers going to work every day, and when they look a couple houses down and see someone who can work and won't work and is getting their money, they're like, come on, let's change that.
Before we get to the comments by the former FBI director, I want to quickly ask you about the negotiations on health care in the Senate. Are you disappointed at all with what's been going on with health care reform in the Senate?
It's up to the Senate. We had a long debate here. All I know is we need to get it done. I'll leave that up to senators. They got their own dynamics over there. We know what happened here. What I do know is the debate that took place in the House, that intense and vigorous debate, conservatives made the bill better. Guarantee it's a better piece of legislation that left the House than was what was originally introduced, particularly the leaked version that came out way back in late February, early March.
We're hearing a lot about leaks lately.
Yeah.
What did you make of the comments yesterday by the former FBI director?
Well, first of all, I thought it confirmed everything the president had been saying, that he wasn't under investigation. But I thought it was interesting when Mr. Comey said he leaked information through a friend because he wanted to kind of prompt this special counsel being appointed. And I thought, you know what? We called for a special counsel in the IRS investigation. Didn't happen. Senator Cornyn and others called for a special counsel in the Clinton investigation. Didn't happen. But, when it's about Mr. Comey and covering his backside and protecting his reputation, and he's been personally fired, suddenly now he can leak information to get a special. He couldn't do a special counsel when Americans' fundamental liberties were attacked by the IRS. Couldn't do a special counsel when Secretary Clinton was getting classified information out there in a way that shouldn't have been out there. But when it's about him, he can leak information to get a special counsel appointed. Amazing.
So just final question quickly. Is the president right then to have the White House file a complaint against Mr. Comey for that interaction?
I'll leave that up to the White House. What I do know is the president was confirmed that he had been telling the truth the entire time, that he was not under investigation. Mr. Comey only memorialized conversations that he had with President Trump. Didn't memorialize important conversations that obviously took place on other important events, like the day they decided to give Cheryl Mills immunity, the day they had this meeting on the tarmac with former President Clinton and all. So, but I'll leave that up to the White House.
Congressman Jim Jordan, we always appreciate you coming on Bloomberg.